It is time for the question of the week. So with that, it's sad that, you can't talk about what the colonizers do in the country when it comes to crime. But yet we are demonized as the criminals of America, even though, once again, I always say it, the federal census of ethnic arrests don't state that we are the ones committing the most crimes. From 2015 to about 2020, 69,000 robberies happened allegedly in America by all nations. How many of you think was done by the colonizers themselves? 32,000 robberies was done by them alone. 32,000 out of 69,000. And then the rest is for everybody else. But yet, they don't promote it. They don't talk about it. They don't publicize it. And they don't demonize themselves on their media and social platforms of what they call their news. But yet, for us, anything we do, they try to highlight it as if, look what these black folks are doing. Look at the black folks. They're breaking the law again. Look at the black folks. Did you see what happened over there with the do? But yet, whole families, poof, and so on goes on in their communities on a regular basis by their own individual family members. And they don't talk about it. They don't talk about nothing that they do or the high corruption that they have within the system that they get away with on a regular basis, And it's sad, just recently, social media influencers sort of say with that complexion for that type of protection just knocked off 6 people in a accident driving super duper fast. It took them 3 years with him being out on bond to prosecute the case. And in that 3 years, they did everything to get that young man a plea down deal to where he only got 12 years off of 6. People poofed. Go figure, right? But if that was you, I, or anyone else that looked like us, you know what would happen? You'd have been getting crazy buku time. Under the sun time. No, you got others where something happened to a girl and under that, touchy feely, and the dude red-handedly sitting in court, and the judge said, well, he don't want to mess up this young man's life after what he did to her. Messed her life up. She traumatized, but he don't want to mess up his life. So he ain't gonna give him no real time. That would mess his life up. They get this type of deals because they policing themselves. So when they go in front of the judges, they look like each other. And then they look out for their own kind. That's just what it is, allegedly, right? But you and I, we don't get that. We don't get to police our own, nor do we get to have sympathy for our own people or our youth and try to help save their lives when it comes to them being mischievous or doing survival work in the community because we get bare minimum resources. And in turn, they get demonized and mass incarcerated more than any other nation in the world. This is the reality of being policed by those that don't look like you. It's just what it is. But when you talk about these things, they try to hush you up so that way this type of information, these type of receipts that's out there don't get spoke upon, because then people will start looking around and opening their eyes to who's really committing the crimes in America and getting away with them still to this day. Just like reparations haven't been paid or a bill passed for protection against 8 crimes for the Aboriginal Negroes, still getting away with the crimes, still getting away with the crimes, still getting away with the crimes, still to this day. No matter what. It's just what it is. It's their system. They get to police their own. They get to rewrite the law whenever they feel like it or push the law whenever they feel like it or not. But you and I, we don't get that. We don't get that privilege. Matter of fact, a lot of the brown don't get that privilege either, even though they're a little above in the caste system that we under. Because we had the bare bottom. Go figure. But this is the real reality that we're playing. This is what it's about. And when you're not informed on what is happening when it comes to the criminality of criminal behavior in America, all you're going to think is this face here, because this is the only face that they really give you to think of. And that's just what it is. But as we continue to go on, just know there are way more serious crimes and bigger crimes than what the Aboriginal Negro of America is actually doing when it comes to crime in America. It's just those that are being done on a higher level than us is not to be talked about. Those that are committing more crime than us is not to be talked about. And those that deserve to be mass incarcerated way more than us, those are not to be talked about. And that's just what it is. And you can't call it what it is straight out front. You can't be like, it's racism, it's constitutional talk. You can't really say the things that's going on, because then, that's a no-no. You gotta sweeten it up. You gotta sugar-coat it so that way it can be played down, so that way they don't look as bad as what the crime really is. You know what I mean? And this is just what it is. That's why when something happens, they always go over hills to tell you, oh, he's just a great person in the community. He was in high school, in college, he was... And in the end, he's a criminal who did some heinous stuff. You see what I'm saying? But if it's you or I, or those that look like us from our community and our nation, then they try to dig up any dirt they can. Even if you're the victim, they try to, hey, he used to smoke that stuff. Do that, It's ugly. Last year, he was in such and such and such. Even though you're the victim, this is just how they do. They keep that narrative going that somehow they changed over the times after they invaded and took the land and took all the resources and Holocaust, massacred, and genocide our people. Yeah, that's for those that don't inform themselves on what's really going on. And I tell y'all, if they can cover up their own actions here by controlling their system, then they also can sell you a bunch of lies about history, about what was going on in America, and about who are the real Americans and everything else. They can tell you anything they want because they're the ones control the informational output of their system. And this is why it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? So influenced, let's say that, when it comes to us speaking on our own platforms that we actually have, in a sense, to be able to speak on these social platforms. This is why they talk about disinformation, misinformation, and so on, because they got to play down what they don't want you to really know about, that they're keeping under the rug. So with that stated, whenever you think about crime, whenever you think about what's going on in the country when it comes to criminality, just know that the colonizers are always committing way more heinous crimes and criminal activity than you are, because they're the ones that know that they can get off and get a plea down deal and be back at home on any level of authority when it comes to any type of crime that they commit. It's just what it is. But you and I, we all know they'll mass incarcerate you to the fullest of the law, no matter what happens, because at the end of the day, you're not their people, regardless of what they say when it comes to being citizens of America, equal rights under the law. You can save all that stuff, because at the end of the day, you'll mess around and find out that you're locked down. And with that, I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. But that is the question. You let me know. Peace, peace.